In a 2020 report by writer Jason Schreier, in which he talked to employees at Rockstar, we found out their next game would be a new Grand Theft Auto. I want to talk about what else we know right now. Since I started writing the video, a lot has happened. We'll be going over that, but also some other info I found interesting. A lot of this will still be speculation, but speculation can be fun. Tom Henderson, who often leaks info about a variety of games, revealed the next GTA will be set in a modern-day Vice City, which is based on the city Miami. A probable reason for this time period is because it allows for more customization and content for the online mode. All of this info was backed up by Jason Schreier. He also said the map, much like Fortnite, will evolve over time when DLC is released. These changes will be made to the original map, but will also include new areas. In Jason Schreier's report, he also said the game will have a moderately sized release that is then expanded with regular updates over time. What might be further confirmation of Vice City's return came from a podcast in December 2020, when a DJ who worked on GTA 5's Cayo Perico DLC revealed he went to a party for Rockstar employees, who were there so they could drive Lamborghinis, shoot guns and party, like the stuff they were making games about. The party took place in 2019 in Miami. Tom Henderson said there will be 2 playable characters, one male and one female. According to Tom, the female character is intelligent and technologically savvy. He also revealed some new information about how other characters will pay you for work. Some high-profile characters will use cryptocurrency instead of cash to give you large amounts of money anonymously. One character we might know is called the Mexican. This came from the resume of a Mexican actor back in 2017 that was later taken down. When questioned on why GTA 6 was on there, he only responded by saying he could not confirm or deny anything. In 2020, Rockstar filed a patent about improving the AI of NPCs in cars and how they react to the world around them. The improvements it mentions include NPCs actively avoiding traffic, and they'll take different routes depending on the weather, like avoiding roads that are dangerous in the rain. Another patent mentions an old, run-down neighborhood will slowly transform into a high-end neighborhood if the player becomes more successful in those areas. In 2021, Rockstar's lead gameplay programmer talked about how they want all animals to have as much variety in movement as the horses in Red Dead Redemption 2, which is impressive considering the horses had more than 3,000 animations. In his 2020 report, Jason Schreier said the game is in early development, and later on Twitter that the game is years away. Tom Henderson then went on to predict a 2024-25 release with a 2023 reveal at the earliest. In a trailer for GTA 5's Cayo Perico DLC back in November 2020, there are coordinates on the bottom of the screen. If you look them up to see where they lead, of all the places in the world they could take you to, they point to a bend in a road in the middle of nowhere that happens to look like the number 6 in Roman numerals. If intentional, this would be the first official reference to GTA 6.
We're going to be talking about how Rockstar tried to remove their latest leak from the internet altogether, and also how an important announcement from their parent company might give us some details on when we could get upcoming information on either the Trilogy Remaster, the Definitive Edition, Expanded and Enhanced, or even something beyond, like GTA 6, which I know a lot of people would obviously be very much interested in seeing. So let's start with what happened the other day. As you guys know, when Rockstar updated the launcher on PC, there were scripts, images, and files found of the achievements, the logos, the sort of coding for the 3 Trilogy Remastered games. Grand Theft Auto 3, the Definitive Edition, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, the Definitive Edition, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the Definitive Edition. And people were able to also discover these on Rockstar's own servers. So for example, if you typed in like a certain URL, you would find the image for like GTA San Andreas or the achievement logos, etc. Well, it looks like a day or so after this has come out, Rockstar was obviously aware of this. They're not like living under a rock here. They clearly saw the internet probably freak out about this entire thing. In fact, just the other day, Rockstar was trending on Twitter again. So it's no surprise. They know that the whole world knows about it at this point. And yet we still haven't heard from them officially. I'll talk about when that might be in a little bit. But if you now try and go to one of these sites, it'll just say like not found instead of showing the images. So Rockstar have tried to wipe this from the internet. Unfortunately for them, once something like this appears, it's going to be around forever. Now, I've seen some people saying, well, does this mean this actually isn't real? Was this a mistake? Is this Rockstar doing this on purpose? A, they're clearly doing this on purpose. B, I don't think this is a mistake. I think this is them just trying to get this off the internet until they're officially ready for it to be released. I don't think this is something they anticipated, or maybe they did do this on purpose and it's just a way to build up the hype. But either way, Rockstar have now said, you know what? We don't want this out there. We only want it out there when we get to decide when that's going to happen. And when that's going to be, I'm not really too sure. A lot of people have speculated that October 22nd, which is the official anniversary of Grand Theft Auto 3 for 20 years coming out, that would be a good time to talk about it. If that's the case, we're looking at about 2 weeks from now. But I do think it's interesting that Rockstar is just kind of like saying like, nope, this doesn't exist. We're removing it from the internet and we're still not even going to talk about it. And it doesn't look as if this leak is going to push Rockstar to announce this any sooner than they wanted to. I think that even though people know about it, and even earlier today, Rockstar talked about the GTA Online event week. They didn't talk about anything that had to do with this. That's because Rockstar's on their own timeline here, and I don't expect that even though the whole world knows about it, that they're going to suddenly change their whole plan. So that's just my thinking there. And this also adds up with something else we learned today. We now know that Rockstar Games' parent company, Take-Two Interactive, is going to be hosting an earnings call for Quarter 2, 2022, on November 3rd, 2021 at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, we don't know any more details than that, but what we do know on these earning calls is that we hear from Take-Two Interactive CEO and Chairman Strauss Zelnick, and we usually get some nuggets on things that are happening in the Rockstar world. But what's more important about this is Rockstar announcements usually happen either right before or right after this conference. So that's done strategically so that Strauss Zelnick can talk about what's new. Because remember, these earnings calls are supposed to be for shareholders, stockholders, and investors, not necessarily fans of the game looking for a news outlet. However, though, news about games that us fans are interested in do have impact on the business side of things. It's official from Rockstar. Days after the leak, Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, the definitive edition, has been confirmed. Rockstar announced this today on their Newswire page. We have a ton of new details about this upcoming GTA title and what it's going to be like when it arrives. So Rockstar announced this. Later this month marks a very special anniversary for Rockstar Games. 20 years since the original release of Grand Theft Auto 3, the game that set players loose in the sprawling, three-dimensional metropolis of Liberty City with a new and unprecedented sense of freedom and immersion. In addition to carving a new path for the open-world genre, Grand Theft Auto 3 established Grand Theft Auto as a cultural phenomenon, alongside its two subsequent and equally legendary entries into the series, Grand Theft Auto Vice City and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. We'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to all the Grand Theft Auto fans who have supported the games over the past 2 decades. Your love and appreciation for these games has helped push the Grand Theft Auto series forward with every iteration. And now that leads us to the announcement of Grand Theft Auto the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, where they said this: in honor of the upcoming anniversary, today we are excited to announce that all 3 games will be coming to current generation platforms later this year. In Grand Theft Auto the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and the Rockstar Games launcher on PC. Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy, the definitive edition, will feature across-the-board upgrades, including graphical improvements and modern gameplay enhancements for all three titles, while still maintaining the classic look and feel of the originals. We're extremely excited to share more about these groundbreaking titles in the coming weeks. Stay tuned.